What is up, everyone? Welcome back to another video, and I'm back with another random thing that we're going to have a play around with. I'm having a pretty interesting run on Facebook Marketplace of late, and I keep buying somewhat expensive things that are incredibly cheap in the grand scheme of things compared to what they cost brand new. This is one of those things, and I'm either got burnt on this or I got a smoking deal. So this is the Testo thermal imaging camera, 882 model, I believe. It is a incredibly expensive thermal imaging camera. I was looking up prices on it. It is one model old, like there's an 883 now, this is the 882, but from what I can tell, it's an identical model for the most part. This runs about 10,000 Australian dollars to buy this thing, and I got it for a fraction of that. It does work. It comes with a mains power adapter. I plugged it in, tested it, it's all good there. I thought the battery was just flat, and it is flat, but it turns out that it is so flat that the camera will not even detect. This thing's an absolute tank. It's insane how thick this thing is. So yeah, we load the battery in and it is completely dead. I plug the charger in and it doesn't even detect that there is a battery present in this thing. So either the battery is completely gone and beyond saving, or we might be able to revive it with some crazy thing. And that's what I'm interested in trying to figure out, and we're going to cover in this video. It's a lithium-ion battery. It is 3.7 volts, 5,000 milliamp hour, and it looks like maybe 2 cells by the looks of it. Could even crack this open and try and fix it, to be honest. This battery is $500 to buy. Woof. So yeah, we're going to try and save that in this video and have a look at this thermal imaging camera. Let's see what happens. Right, so just having a look at this battery, like I said, 3.7 volts, 5,000 milliamp hour, 18.5 watt hour is the capacity. Has 4 terminals on top. I'm assuming a positive and a negative, and maybe some sort of controller for the balancing, or just detecting the batteries present, something along those lines. And there's a little bit of voltage there, but not really anything worthy of mentioning. Very concerning. I don't know if we're going to be able to revive this or not, but we are most certainly going to try, because we've got nothing to lose at this point. So I'm going to try injecting it with some power, or voltage should I say, from my lab power supply, and let's see if we can figure out what these pins are. I've already looked online. There's no sort of pin out available, so we're shooting in the dark here. But yeah, let's see what we can figure out. Right, so let's get stuck in. Excuse the noise. This lab power supply is incredibly loud. This is Old Faithful. My other lab power supply is down for the count at the moment, and that was my quiet alternative, so yeah. I'm gonna set 1 volt for now. And let's just try 0.200 milliamps, 1 volt, 200 milliamps, and we'll see what happens. So yeah, we've got a few combinations to try here, and I've got to try and hold this and get it in camera. Hopefully you can see the screen, sort of. So what we're looking for is some current draw here, and I'm hoping that one set of these contacts is directly connected to the cells that are inside. So we should see some current draw if we hit the cells. Let's make sure these are actually working. Here they are, cool. Nothing there, nothing there. Are these actually connected properly? What is going on here? Would have expected to see something. There is nothing. I'm going to bring it up to 2 volts. 500 milliamps. Oh. Alright, here's something. What's going on here? Nothing there, nothing there. Let's check it reversed. Nothing. Nothing. So I've got something negative up the top, positive down the bottom. Ooh. Here we go. Current draw is dropping, so I think we're actually on the cells. So I'm going to take this up. 2.2 amps. Let's put a decent amount of current into it. That's definitely the cells. Voltage is climbing. Oh, and it dropped. Something happened then. In my head, 5,000 milliamp hour at 3.7 volts. That would be a 2-hour charge. Sorry, 2.5 hour charge-ish at 2 amps. Am I doing that? Am I thinking that correctly? I think so. Anyway, it's definitely taking a charge. I'm going to bring up the voltage because I don't think that's enough. I'm pretty sure it was like 4.2 volts for a pack like this. Well, that power is going somewhere. It's either going up as heat and this thing's about to go nuclear, or it's actually taking a charge. And I'm not looking to fully charge this thing. I just need to get it to the point where the thermal imager will see it and actually take over the charging process by itself. Well, this is about as ghetto as I can get. I could not be bothered holding these pins on this battery for forever. It's still taking a solid 2 amps, and I thought, oh geez, I wonder how hot this thing's getting. If only I had a thermal imaging camera. Oh wait, I do. So let's have a look. Alright, yeah, she's heating up. Nothing, oh, what are you doing? Oh, there you go, you're back. Nothing crazy, it's definitely warming up. I don't want to touch it because the pins will fall off again. About what I would expect for a charging battery anyway. And that solid, what do we got? 4 volts, 2 amps, so 8 watts going into it. And yeah, it's definitely doing something. Let's see what happens. I'll report back soon. Well, it's been charging for about 15 minutes, so let's take this off and see if we have any luck. Oh, she's warm. Yeah. Not hot, but about what I would expect for a charging battery anyway. So let's see if this thing detects. It's got an icon up here, and I believe it should have a battery symbol or something if this is actually going to work. Oh, is this flashing? It is. Holy sh... I won't swear. Wow. So according to the manual, if the light is flashing... Hang on, let me turn off the overhead light. Oh. If that's flashing, it should be charging. It is. It's got the charging icon. Wow. That doesn't mean this battery is actually going to hold a charge ever again, but that is a hell of a lot better than what we had before. Oh, you can actually see the grill. That's cool. So, do I leave this on or do I turn it off? I don't really want to leave this on for 4 hours. Let's try turning it off. Oh, look at that. All right, I'm going to go and have something to eat, and I'll come back, and we'll see what happens. Right, so it's actually a day later. It took like 7 hours for this battery to fully charge. I assume it's fully charged because it was doing something that entire time. And yeah, we're going to test it out now. I left it for 8 hours to sort of settle and discharge so we can actually check if it's holding a charge also. So I thought we'd just check it with a multimeter first and see what these terminals are actually telling us, because I'm curious what actually does what now. All right, yeah, cool. 3.8. Wow, I've got 3.8 volts on every terminal now. Huh. I wonder what all these terminals actually do. voltage is solid. Hasn't really discharged at all from what I can tell. And it's not dropping, it's just sitting there. So that's a good sign. Anyway, let's stop screwing around. Throw this in. And see what happens. Oh, yes. She is working. This takes forever to boot, by the way. Right, so this thing finally started up. It took forever. It takes like a minute to boot up, which is just absolutely ridiculous, but it's got a lot of stuff on here as well. Just a quick look around this unit. It does have a motorized focusing system, which is really cool, and it is speed sensitive, so you can move it slowly as well. Very cool. You can set it to manual focus also. So it's got two lights on here. It's got a laser and a visible camera, which it uses to do sort of an overlay function also. On the side here, it's got a removable backup battery, so you can change that. That's a little weird. SD card slot, USB slot, and it also has a slot so you can record audio as well, which is quite weird. And the power adapter. Yeah, this thing is a tank, absolutely massive. It's got a trigger here, so you can program that to do different things, I think. But I've been playing around with it, and the resolution, let me just bring this in again. It likes to keep changing modes or doing something. Yeah, you can see the hair on my arm. That's just really crazy. And put a handprint down. Very, very sensitive. I'll put in some footage. I was playing with the tap in the kitchen, which is really fun to see. Hot water looks like lava. It's really nuts. I'm not going to do an in-depth review, but I'll just show you some of the settings. So it's got the laser here. We can switch image types. You've got visible. You can do split screen. Got a few different functions there. Measurement options. Lots of different measurement options. You can do 2-point, hottest, coldest, variable, humidity, all sorts of stuff. There's a scaling, which is on automatic at the moment, but you can set a high and low range manually, which is nice. Display, just customize the display. Emissivity, how the hell you say it? You can choose what materials you're scanning, because that's going to give different scaling and depending on the reflections and whatnot. I'm not an expert on this, I'm still learning it, but yeah, it does affect the readout quite dramatically. What else have we got? Change the palette. We can go into some different functions. Sepia. Yeah, there's some interesting things. I don't know what you would use some of this. Whoa, that's cool. Look at that. Focus on the hand. That's sick. What is the... That is really cool. I can't record live video on this thing. That's probably my main disappointment for something that costs this much money. And yeah, would be nice to have that. And I think we're done here. Not much more to talk about. Oh, it does have a super resolution. So this is a 320 pixel thermal imaging camera, which is quite high from what I've seen. I think the highest resolution ones you can get are 640 pixel sensors, and they are like $20,000 thermal cameras from what I've seen these days. This is, like I said, 320 pixel. With the super resolution, it does go up to 640 pixels, but it's like a composite image sort of thing. How long this battery will last, I don't know. I know that lithium batteries do not like to be deep discharged, so this thing may have a short life. It may be adversely affected. I don't know. We'll just have to play the waiting game and see how long this thing lasts. But at the moment, it is working. I'll probably run it down flat a couple of times, charge it up again, run it flat, charge it up, try to cycle the battery. And I don't even know if these have a memory as such. It's probably a good idea to see if we can try to work this thing back into some sort of normal usage again. And yeah, that's it for this video. I think we can come up with some interesting projects to do with this in the future. I don't know if it's going to hang around or not. I would like to be able to record video with thermal imaging, so I may look at some other options, but either way, I think I've won with this because of the price I paid for it and what these are worth. And it seems to be otherwise working fine. So, hope you enjoyed this video. If you have one of these Testo thermal imaging cameras, or anything really with a lithium battery in it, you may be able to save it with some careful power injection with a power supply. Just keep in mind, you do so at your own risk, and lithium batteries are dangerous, so be careful. Hope you enjoyed this video. See you in the next one.